All right, here we are with gotcha number 9. This one, there's really not as many corrections, but it looks worse. Let me read it to you. My cousin means Signor Benedick of Padua, Hero said, with winking and a smile for Beatrice. The messenger that had brought the letter replied without rancor, Oh, Sir Benedick returns with Don Pedro, and he is as pleasant as ever with his barbs and quips. Okay, words you may not be familiar with. Let me change color for this one just because I can. Um, okay, barbs and quips. Barbs has to do like barbed wire, something sharp, and quips is a short, kind of witty saying. So it's talking about Sir Benedick having barbs and quips. He's very sharp-witted. He's got a sharp wit. Um, let's take a look. I did this to the last one, and I hope that it was helpful, but let me show you the corrected version, and then I'll go through the corrections and give you the rationale behind each of them. You can pause this at any time that you need to. Go. Pause at any time that you need to make adjustments on your paper. Please remember to make adjustments or corrections with a different colored pen or pencil. Always, always, always. Okay, so we're still in dialogue, and in dialogue, when a new person speaks, we always indent. So we're going to start by indenting right here. We're going to add some quotations. My cousin means Signor Benedick of Padua. This is caps. Hopefully we've gotten to the point where we don't even really have to think about doing that. And heroes caps too. All of those are proper nouns. We're going to put a comma here because it's not a question. Remember in the earlier one we had if it's a question, we end with the end punctuation. This is all one big sentence ending here, and so we're just going to have a comma here. We're going to put the quotations right here, and then we're going to finish the sentence out. This is all just one sentence right here. So my cousin means Signor Benedick of Padua, Hero said, with a wink and a smile for Beatrice. We've capped this as well. Over here, we see that it said with winking and a smile. Now, there are a couple of different ways that you can fix this. Let me explain what's wrong with it to begin with. This is what's called non-parallel structure. I'm just going to use parallel, the geometric phrasing of it. Non-parallel structure. In parallel structure, you want to have the format the same. In other words, this right here is a verb, winking. This right here is a noun and a smile. We want to make sure they're parallel, like train tracks. They should be the same, either both verbs with winking and smiling, or both nouns with a wink and a smile. I thought it made a little more sense to make them both nouns, and so I did. A wink and a smile. Make sense? So that is what's called parallel structure. Okay, so this finishes her dialogue. We're going to indent again. If you're struggling with the indentations, don't stress so much about that. It's important that you know that you indent when a new person speaks, but it's kind of hard to tell when you should indent it when an idea changes, so don't stress too much about that. Just fix it if you didn't do it correctly. Okay, the messenger who had brought, this changes from that to who because this is a relative pronoun as we talked about, and it's being used as the subject here. The messenger who had brought the letter. This is one of those restrictive relative pronouns because it is necessary to the meaning of the sentence. The messenger who had, that's why there's no comma here. The messenger who had brought the letter replied without rancor. I should have explained what rancor meant. When you have rancor, it's some sort of like anger or agitation. So if you without rancor, it means without any sort of bitterness or without any sort of agitation. So we replied without rancor, and we're going to put a comma here, just like we put a comma here, because this shows that we're moving from the dialogue to the rest of the sentence. So we're basically introducing the quote, and we're concluding the quote here. So we're introducing the quote. We're going to begin with quote marks. We're going to begin with a capital letter, and we're going to add a comma here. And hopefully you knew to do that. If you didn't, that's okay. It's because this is an interjection, like oh, or wow, or ouch. It's also an introductory part of the sentence, so a comma goes there. So you put a comma after interjections or introductory elements of the sentence. Okay, and then we cap here. Sir Benedick returns with Don Pedro. We cap those. And he is as pleasant as ever with, gotcha. Yeah, I messed up. It should be his barbs and quips. And you're going to end the punctuation and you're going to close the quote. Sorry about messing that up right there. We'll just eke it out. It should be his barbs and quips. Notice, and this wasn't a mistake over here, but I do want to call your attention to it. It's again parallel structure, as pleasant as ever. Okay, there you have it. That's Katya 8 and 9. I do want to show you while I've got you here. Let me erase this and move to a cursor, and I'm going to show you a couple of things for when you begin studying. Okay, we were going to have a Katya test, but since we've had some issues with school, I'm just going to have a portion of the 17th and 18th century test have a Katya component. Okay, and it's going to look very similar to one of these, where I will give you an original. I will read it aloud to you in class, because several of you have said that that helps, and you will write it down correctly. This time I will be looking to see how many you do get correct the first time. So on these practices, it doesn't matter how many you get wrong, but on the test it will. So I recommend two things. One, take a look at the different grammar skills that we've practiced so far. I will put this on haiku as well, but these are the different skills that we have practiced on the 9 katyas that we've done. Okay? Go through these. Go through your katyas. Notice what you keep getting wrong, and then try to do some practice on those particular skills. You have access to some grammar videos that we've done at the beginning of the semester. There's also a site that I want to show you. It's called Grammar Girl, Quick and Dirty Tips. I know it's kind of a funny website sound or name, but it's really good. She's called the Grammar Girl, and she has some explanations that I think will resonate with you as a student. This one is on sit versus set, which is what we just did this past one. So take a look at it and take a look at the skills that we've done and see what you're continually getting wrong. And we'll have a chance to probably practice together before that version of the test. But that's what's going to be on your test. Okay, I will talk to you guys later.